Everyone knows that the Canadian government is a joke. Yes, Justin Trudeau should resign as soon as possible to make Canada great again. And her minister, Freeland of Finance, puts key elements that we should analyze, and that's gonna be the focus of this video. So if you want to learn more about Canadian politics and how that may affect the US, Mexico, and other countries, we should concentrate on this letter. So he says that it has been an honor, and then here's the second part. On Friday, you told me you no longer want me to serve as your finance minister and offer me another position in the cabinet. Upon reflection, I have concluded that only honest and viable path is for me to resign from the cabinet. Here is the key thing. Read this. To be effective, a minister must speak on behalf of the prime minister and with his full confidence. In making your decision, you made me clear that I no longer credibly enjoy that confidence and possess the authority that comes with it. That's the key thing. So, when you're a leader and you're choosing your secretaries or ministers, you have to trust them. That's the number one reason. And they are the ones that should communicate your vision. So the conflict starts here because now the finance minister is saying, hey Trudeau, you don't like the way that I tell you the things. So imagine that kind of leader, that someone comes there and say, hey, we should analyze this. And you're like, I don't like you. I'm gonna change you from your role. What is going on, Trudeau? And this is what it literally the letter says. And look, it says, for the past number of weeks, you and I have found ourselves at odds about the best path forward for Canada. So it's like a contradiction. Like the Prime Minister says one thing, the Minister of Finance other thing. And this is the key, and this is what I wanted to focus today, guys. Our country today faces a grave challenge, okay? The incumbent administration in the United States is pursuing a policy of aggressive economic nationalism, including a threat of 25% tariffs. This is the key thing, you know? And what I like about this past Minister of Finance is that she's very direct. You know, she's literally saying, the incumbent administration, Trump, a policy of aggressive economic nationalism. Like, she's saying that's aggressive economic nationalism. And in one of my previous videos where I analyzed both the Trump's decision for 25% on Canada and Mexico, and I show how that will affect the American citizen, how, for example, 81% of the beer that is imported from the US comes from either Mexico or Canada, and how many things, and you just check this video that I did, will be affected with tariffs. And also I did another video on 100% tariffs on China or in the BRICS countries. And I think that aggressive economic nationalism is bad for the world. I believe in that. Francisco Mani, you know, PhD researcher and an MIT innovator. And she's talking specifically that threat of the 25% tariffs. Because remember that Trump several times, he said, you know, we're just subsidizing Canada with more than 200 billion. Maybe Canada should just be a state. Imagine, that's like an insult. Okay? Let's see what the minister says. We need to take that threat extremely seriously. Okay? So when a country's leader saying, hey, we're going to put 25% tariff, you put a lot of attention. You just don't simply go and take pictures like Trudeau's. That means keeping our fiscal powder dry today So we have the reserves we might need for coming tariff war. Think about this, guys. It's like if someone is announcing the 25%, then the minister says, okay, let's prepare for tariff war. Tariff war. That's what it's saying. So to enter tariff war, that means for US products being exported to Canada will be affected. That's a tariff war. But she's literally saying we need to keep our fiscal powder dry today. So it's like reduce spending. We need to reduce spending so we can have money, so we can fight that war. It's an economic war. It's a tariff war. And let's see what she says. That means eschewing costly political gimmicks. Exactly, like especially all that of that diverse, extremely diverse cabinet that Trudeau has. What is that? That was a completely joke. When I saw that, I thought it was a Halloween party. Yeah, which we can ill afford, and which make Canadians doubt that we recognize the gravity of the moment. It's like he's just putting laws just to appear in the picture. Man, it's not working, Justin. You should resign. Okay? Looks what she's saying is very interesting. That means pushing back against America First economic nationalism with a determined effort to fight for capital and investment and the jobs they bring. This is very interesting. So she's going beyond the capital, she's going beyond the tariff war, and she's saying, okay, we're also going to have a capital war. What does it mean? You saw that Trump announced with Masayoshi Son, the SoftBank CEO, the guy who invested in WeWork, the guy who created the Soft Vision Bank fund with $100 billion. He said, okay, I'm going to invest $100 billion into the US. And Masayoshi Son announced that after meeting with Trump in Mar-a-Lago. If you want to know more about Mar-a-Lago and how Trump turned it minus $1 million per year to plus $40 million per year, watch this video that I made about it. And it's very interesting because now the minister, the previous minister, but I think many politicians in Canada are thinking the same. How we can fight for that capital? Because Masayoshi Son, he said, okay, we're gonna put $100 billion. That's a lot of money. But also he said we want to generate 100,000 jobs. And then he said we're gonna focus a lot on AI jobs, which is kind of contradictory, but not, but that's for another video. But the interesting thing is that the previous finance minister of Canada is saying determined effort to fight for capital and investment and the jobs they bring. So she's saying, okay, we should start changing Canada from a dump country that doesn't know how to do things, that is a complete joke to the world because of Trudeau, to a country that fights for capital, investment, and job generation. That's it. That's the call from the minister. It's like so clear. And the good thing about analyzing this stuff, guys, is that it gives us a glimpse of what is going to happen if Trump activates the 25 tariffs. If that happens and the Canadians still have Trudeau, well, they don't do a lot. But if Trudeau resigns very soon, and if they change the government, and Potro and other officials enter the government, they're going to do this. They're going to fight for this investment and capital. And how do you fight for that investment and capital? Well, you offer more things. You offer tax incentives. You offer other types of incentives that will allow companies and people and billionaires to come to your country and say, hey, let's take full advantage of what you're offering. So this is a very important strategy that Canada will do if Trump decides to go forward with his 25% tariffs on Canada. Then, then look what she's saying. She says that means working in good faith and humility with the premiers of the provinces and territories of our great and diverse country and building a true Team Canada response. So that doesn't mean you as a prime minister by yourself do it. Or that doesn't mean you prime minister, I the finance minister do it. No, she's literally saying, hey, grab your phone, like literally make the call, have a meeting, talk to each one of the premiers of the provinces and territories. Okay? Call the guy in Alberta. Call the guy in Wellington. Call all those guys. Okay? And then organize strategies, because remember that when you're doing imports and exports, and when you're attracting migrants, and when you're attracting investment and capital, normally those regions and territories, or in the case of Canada, are called provinces. They have their own strategies. But if you build a Team Canada response, that's stronger because you are uniting people. And that's why Trump won. Remember that Trump won because he always says, make America great again. Okay? Then the Europeans, they complain, and then they say, make Europe great again. At least she's not doing the same. She wants to do it, but of course that will give credit to Trump. But what she's saying is build a true Team Canada response. Very interesting. Very interesting. Now let's see what she's saying. I know Canadians will recognize and respect such an approach. Of course, because you're thinking in your country. Okay? What I like, she highlights the diversity of the country. That's very important. And that's what I like about Canada and all his policies for migration. They know when we're working for them, and they equally know when we're focused on ourselves. Like we're working to make Canada great, to respond. Okay? And then she says, inevitable, our time in government will come to an end. Yes, because it's like, man, if you don't do stuff, get out. But how we deal with the threat our country currently faces will define us for a generation and perhaps longer. This is very interesting. So she's saying, hey, dude, think about the future. Will define us. Don't be such a mediocre as you already do, Justin Trudeau. Stop being mediocre. Like literally, the letter, she's very decent, but the letter is stop being mediocre, unite Canada, talk to everyone, and put everyone on board to our common vision. Because when you do that, you're not only defined for this generation, you define for longer. She says, Canada will win if we are strong, smart, and united, which they're not right now. Okay, so Canada is neither strong, neither smart, neither united. They have smart people, strong people, like Minister Freeland, not like Justin Trudeau. And my hope for Canada is that they elect better leadership. And then she says, it is this conviction which has driven my strenuous efforts this fall to manage our spending in ways that will give us the flexibility we will need to meet the serious challenges presented by the United States. Like she was already doing it, you know, thinking about that. Like she knew, like, oh, Trump is gonna win. Okay, Trump won. Okay, we have to get ready. Okay, dry power, dry power, dry power. I always be grateful. With gratitude, Chrystia Freeland. Very interesting. Very interesting. The Minister of Finance of Canada. But this is very interesting because in Mexico they're doing something similar. Canadians are focusing on this. And at the end, will determine how countries react to the different conditions is their leadership. That's the advantage that the US has right now with Trump. The leadership. It's a leadership to make America great again. It's a leadership united half of the Americans. It's a leadership that wants better, but with terrible policies such as the tariffs that will create tariff wars and will create capital wars and will create job wars. That's what was going to create, because what she puts in the letter is the key thing. So yeah, thank you very much, guys. Appreciate it. Please subscribe. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think, how Canada will respond with Trump in the future. Thank you very much. And yeah, it's good.